Right, today in the van, we're going to finish off the carpet, as you can see sort of behind me here. Going to get it done all along the sort of panelling, all on the door. So hopefully it's going to look like that one there at the end of it. And then after I've done all the carpeting, it's basically time to get on with the roof, which is quite exciting. And now I'm just waiting for furniture. But obviously a lot of work to do today, 2 panels to carpet and the whole side to do. So let's get on it. Right, first steps first is I've measured out the carpet. Obviously I've measured, so obviously the load in this van is 2,900 mil. So what I've done is basically gone to 3,600 mil because I need enough to do this pillar here and then obviously the rear pillar at the back. And what I learned is more. So the more you have excess, it sort of helps you at the ends because you don't always know how the carpet's going to sit on the sort of on the sort of the panels, as it were. Especially some of these ones, it stretches a bit funny. So what I'm going to do essentially to start with is glue just the whole top edge, and then I've got the factory sort of straight cut of the carpet, which I'll basically stick to this, and it'll be nice and straight. And then essentially I'll just work my way down each pillar, making sure I go steady away. You don't want to rush these things. And then I won't go full hard into the window frame, because basically I'll leave a little bit of a gap here so that I can tuck the carpet up behind this rubber sort of trim, and it should leave a really clean finish, which will look good. So I think the moral of this is just take your time and just be careful with the spray. And if you've cocked it up, you can literally just rip it off and shove it back in. But so we'll see how that goes. So essentially just going to do what I said on the tin basically. So first things first, just roll the carpet out and just absolutely make sure that you've got enough length, because as soon as it's stuck on, I said, you can pull it off, but you've not got long, and as soon as it's properly stuck, and then you've got a big clean-up job to remove all the glue and bits of carpet stuck to the metal. So here I am just checking the alignment, making sure that it's all good, making sure that it's going to stretch the whole way along, which clearly it does, because I used the good old tape measure, so I was pretty confident that it was going to reach. And I left a good amount of excess, as you can see at the back, just to make sure I can get the pillar done in a oneer. So once that's knit, just stare at it for a little bit, scratch your head, get your adhesive out, and literally just start going nuts. Straight on the metal first. It is a contact adhesive, so make sure you spray it on both mating surfaces, as it were. So here's me just taking my sweet time while I do it. Go on, get it on, son. And then obviously just spray up the carpet as well. So I've done the whole line because I watched the other videos online, and it's easiest to work with this carpet if you stuck the whole top edge. So clearly the top edge, or the edge nearest me at the moment, is the factory cut. So it's as straight as it's going to get. So just made it a hell of a lot easier to just yam all this glue on, stick it up, and then work from there. But really patience is the key, and just being doing bit by bit, going down both pillars, or all 3 pillars at the same time. So that you don't, stick it too much on one corner and then you're left struggling for carpet. It does stretch, as the name suggests, this carpet, but it's really, it can be quite limiting at times. So you've just got to really just be careful with it and just take your time. Right, so here's where you've really got to take your time. So you can see me there just gluing and spraying on both the carpet and the panel at a time. I'm working my way down both quite equally. I've just cut a hole in the window there just to release some of the tension. But really this is all about patience. It doesn't look like it took me very long, but it must have taken me about an hour to get everything right, especially with the wheel arch. You know, just take your time and it comes out pretty good. Right, okay, so now I'm going to do the window. So basically I cut this out just to release some tension. So what I've got here is a brand new Stanley blade that I'm just going to use obviously in my hand. I can feel where the rubber trim is, so essentially I want to come almost like about a finger above the rubber trim and just take my time going the whole way around. And then I've got basically what's like a silicone tool here for tiling, and I'm going to use that to poke the carpet in behind the rubber trim, and hopefully it should leave a dead clean finish. You can't see the rubber trim and you can't see where the carpet ends, so I'm just going to take my time, go all the way around, just be really careful with the blade just to make sure not to take off too much, because as soon as too much is gone, that's it, you've had it. So I'll work my way around nice and steady and see how it looks.
Mouth to mouth, I breathe you in, swallow down your jacket's in, let it drown inside my veins, the sweetest poison I could take. You make it an art, the way that you scar with every word, but before we reach the end, strip me down again. Come and get it one more time, oh, if you wanna lose your mind, oh, come and get it one more time, oh, if you wanna lose your mind, oh, come and get it.
And pretty good finish on the window, as you can see there, just going all the way around. A little bit of tidying up to do, but overall pretty happy with the finish. And then very happy with this pillar here. I thought I had to take all the trim and headlining out, but somehow I've managed to get it all in the back there so it looks super neat. And then I've got 2 strips to do, which will be down the front where the bulkhead used to be, and then one along the top, which you can't quite see, but that metal beam there, and I will have to remove part of the headliner for that, and then it'll be ready to get the roof on. Right, here's the progress update on the carpeting. So basically I've gone all the way up to the back pillar, I've knocked on the trim and cut it obviously, and it looks pretty immaculate at the moment. As you can see, the top where I put the carpeting in is just a good line up here, ready for the roofing. A lot of that panel I'm going to cut out now because I've got a trim panel for it, and then yeah, great news. And then obviously what I didn't realise is that I'd already shown you the how to do the back pillar, but here's how you do it basically. So you just stick it on right the way up to the trim, just remove all the trim, and then you can do what I'm doing, which is run the blade down the metal edge of the back of the door, and it obviously makes a super clean cut. Make sure you use a new Stanley blade, and then it's literally a case of just smashing the trim on again, or in my case you just push it on. It's pretty simple, but it leaves a dead clean finish, and it obviously looks super professional. So yeah, just take your time again like I am there, just making sure it's super close, and then it's literally just a case of putting the trim back on as I am, and then the finish is absolutely gleaming. Bit of carb spray to get the glue off, excess glue if there is any, and then job's a good one.
Mouth to mouth, I breathe you in, swallow down your jacket.
And on to the last little bit. So I'm just going to pull the floor up and then just stick the carpet to the floor, and it'll give a really decent finish when the eventual floor goes in. This is just temporary floor for now, but yeah, it'll look great, and it left a really clean finish once I put the floor back now. So I'm still using the sort of the factory panel that come with the van. So I've measured out the trim clips there, and I was going to drill them first like you see in here, and then sort of put them on the van and then drill them through the skin. You just got to be super careful that you're going through a double bit of skin and not just a single. So I went through the double skin once or twice and hit the outside skin of the van and made a noticeable dent on the outside, so I've had to correct that in due course. But essentially these panels are alright, so I just sort of fit them up here and then worked out where they were going and then drilled accordingly, and it seemed to work alright. But yeah, it's the top ones you want to be careful of. The rest are all on double skin stuff, but you can see me sort of punch through there, and I put most of my weight behind it, so it made a bit of a dent. It's really useful having super sharp drill bits for this, but essentially just drill them out. I put one of the trim clips in there. What I didn't realise, obviously, well, I obviously realised, but once you've got the added thickness of essentially 2 sets of carpet, the standard 22mm trim clips are probably a bit too short. So I've ordered some new ones today, which are 32mm in length, and I'm kind of praying that they're going to fit, because if not, I'll need to find another solution. But essentially, you know, the prep of the panel's quite straightforward. It's just pulling off all the gunk that's been on there, sanding it down, sanding the edges, and then literally just put the carpet on. The carpet's super easy to put on these, you know, you can't really get it wrong. I mean, you've got to be quite special to get a dead flat panel wrong, but suffice to say, I managed to get it right, which is great news for the rest of the conversion. You know, just trimmed it off there, turned it over, and shoved the glue on the back, and it worked pretty well. So yeah, after I've done that, I just had to then put some holes in for the trim clips. So obviously got the torch out and just an old file, and just heated it up to about 600 degrees and just poked it through the back, and it burns straight through the carpet. And it also leaves a super clean finish the other side. So my only word of caution is just try not to do this in the van, because you might burn the van to the ground. But you know, I've been alright so far, so happy with that. But yeah, super clean finish, and I'll show you in the end video what it looks like. So once that was done, I just put the floor black in. It was time to fit the panels. So I did this obviously on the one side first, and then the other side. And here's the sort of end result. The finished result here. So that's the sort of the back pillar. Yeah, looking pretty good. And then there's the wheel well. The middle of it. As you can see, the line at the top there is where the panel ends, but the roof is going to sit above that, so it should be pretty neat. I've put some of these in at the moment, but the new panel screws will sort all that out. So here's the sides, looking good. The window I've already covered. I have done the flooring though, which will go straight under the under the floor, and then also the top of the headliner up here, which looks super neat as well, right next to the headliner there, which is great news. Coming down a bit. Here's the other wall, looking pretty good. Overall, good job, I'd say. And then just looking pretty good overall. I've got the panel for in there, but that'll go when I get the new trim clips. And there's the other side for you. Pretty good job all in.